You are watching CIO TV by Enterprise IT World, a production of Accent Infomedia.
Hello and welcome to CIO TV.live, a sister concern of Enterprise IT World MIA. This is day 2 of JISEC. I'm at the booth of Nozomi Networks. With me is Mr. Usma Ridwan. He is the regional sales director for the company. What is your experience so far for last 2 days?
Hi Sanjay, thank you very much. The experience is phenomenal. The people, the attendees, second day is become busier and busier than first day. It's getting more and more attraction. We could see a lot of vendors across the globe, bringing their expertise and experience to the region so that we could accelerate and elevate the cybersecurity baseline and knowledge within the region.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know that Nozomi Networks into OT and IT security and the present challenges, you know, the backdrop, if you look at situation is not right and the hackers' eyes are on all these critical installations. So every organization out in this region needs to have right security practice, right security solution to protect their OT environment. Let's hear from him about the advantage of Nozomi in this region.
Excellent point, Sanjay. The Nozomi, we started from an OT background. We started as an OT company where we understood the protocols. We work with different manufacturers, like just naming a few: Honeywell, Yokogawa, Schneider, GE, Emerson, and others. And we work also integrated seamlessly with other SIM solutions like IBM QRadar, Otos, and others. With that in mind, when we started this, we started with a process and control systems where they are so elegant, specific, and at the same time, they are critical for the infrastructure for any nation. With the IoT convergence catching up rapidly in the last years, we see the IoT being embedded under the same security of the OT, because how you define, for example, a smart meter or a parking lot sensor, it's not IT and it's not purely OT. So that's where the IT comes. The IoT concept came to the picture. Besides, when the convergence came, they want to take the intelligence and the expertise of safeguard the OT expertise to the IoT so that they have the same methodology. So that's what we are seeing in terms of the conversion. And it's coming more and more under the regulations that are happening either in the multiple countries in the GCC, for example, naming a few, like, for example, Saudi Arabia, NCA, OTCC cybersecurity, or others, or like in the UAE, or in Kuwait, or in Bahrain, and the remaining of the countries in the GCC.
Mr. Usama, you can see very well that the entire region is growing, but Saudi has opened up these days, and the promises are very high. From Nozomi Networks, where do you see the growth is happening better in this region?
Well, with Nozomi, we are covering all the GCC countries, or mainly all the Middle East and Africa region, and focusing on the GCC where I am based in Saudi Arabia. And I could see that the growth is happening across all the countries, across all the regions. And to your point where you mentioned Saudi is taking the lead at multiple scales, especially when you speak about smart city or the smart buildings, or you talk about the OT, the pure OT environments where they have the oil and gas, petrochemical, utilities, electricities. And Saudi Arabia is taking the lead to imply and to virtualize the vision of 2030, where they want to have the security is one of the core elements of that vision.
What is your observation? What is your experience as far as these challenges are concerned? Be it OT security challenges or IoT, IT security challenges. how do you see it is evolving, it is changing these days?
The changes is dynamic because the more knowledge that happens in the market and the more advanced we provide technologies, the more advanced the counterpart, I would say the hackers, maybe protected by us, inshallah, but the skills being elevated. So the more they know, the more now challenge that the other parties, the vendors need to come up with. And that's where we play big role in detecting these kind of threats and trying to prevent them by giving the right alerts and right information at the right specific time before the spread out of that threats or situation.
Thank you for answering that question. Now the question comes that from a vendor perspective, we can see a lot of companies are offering, are into the same space, OT, IoT, IT, IoT also. Now, how do you differentiate your company, Nozomi Networks, from the competition?
Wow, that's a tough question. But I would say, with humble and honor, Nozomi is working with the customer directly and working with the technology partner also directly. So we are hand in hand addressing the challenges for both the customers and the OEMs and the technology alliances, where bridging the gap resulted in taking the Nozomi taking the lead and being the superior when it comes to solving challenges on the spot, discovering vulnerabilities, announcing them, alerting the customers and the OEMs. And that's what I would say the background, the expertise that we have across the globe, where we have our research and development team, the researcher for the threat team, and other among other Nozomi services that we could offer.
All right. Now, maybe concluding couple of questions more I can ask you. What is the roadmap for 2023? If you look at the horizon, market is not that good. American companies in America are not doing great. There is a recession also, which is directly or indirectly impacting this region and other regions. So what is your roadmap now?
That's a tough question to answer from that perspective, but if I shed or zoom out a little bit, back to the point that you said the cyber attacks is happening. Cyber attack will never stop. Either you have a good economy or bad economy. When it happens, it will happen. And that's where the companies who are being protected or they imply and implement security measures and compliances will outstand such a wind, because this will come and go, like what we saw in history and we learned from the history in the past. But taking this so far only will be possible if we have a good foundation by having a solid cyber security framework that's in place.
All right, Mr. Sama, you can agree with me from a customer point of view, since you are a salesperson meeting day in, day out. The challenge for the CISOs or the stakeholders of technology procurement is having proficiency or having right skill set in their organization, which is a big challenge, and all the CISOs do cry about that. What are you doing to enhance the skill sets and understanding of Nozomi technology, Nozomi networks, even any other technologies that you are dealing in as part of the ecosystem?
With that, we could say, by elaborating more on the compliances per country, per region, what they want, because at the end of the day, they want to have the international well-known standards, the industrial standard, and the nation standard when it comes to the cyber security. So having a holistic view, then breaking down those to executable actions will make the life much easier and better. On the other hand, on the other party, where they execute and deliver such compliances and regulation in a place. With that, in total, that would solve what the CISO. So let's remember one thing. What's the CISO role here? He wants to make sure, he or she wants to make sure that the security measures and information or the network is all being protected as per the international laws and standards, manufacturing standards, and national requirement. With all that being said, then it becomes the execution. If the execution as per the standard, then you have, I would say, in my humble opinion, an easy way to implement it and to have it up and running. With the Nozomi, we are introducing this year a new technology, new products, and new and further enhancement as we always do. The latest is that we have Nozomi Arc endpoint sensor, where we actively scan actively scanning the network from the endpoint perspective to be added to what Nozomi is doing passively as we have.
All right then, thank you Mr. Osama for sparing so much of time, valuable time. I can say this is very, very busy time. Normally you love meeting customers, but you gave time to us and spoke about Nozomi and its roadmap. Thank you for that.
No worries. Thank you, Sanjay, and thank you for also valuable time. We appreciate having partners like you. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That was a discussion with Mr. Osama Rizwan, who is the regional sales director for Nozomi Networks for this region. Thank you for watching.